Welcome to Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, your guide to mastering the realm of real estate in Central East Florida. I am Sir Lancelot Lenard, ready to uncover the secrets of seller strategies, home staging, mortgage mastery, and more. From Daytona Beach to Cocoa Beach, Lake County to St. Augustine, join me as we navigate the intricacies of real estate. As the leader of the Sir Lancelot Group at Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage, I'm here to arm you with knowledge and innovation, whether you're a seasoned homeowner or a first-time buyer, unveiling the kingdom of real estate, one roundtable at a time. Welcome back to the Real Estate Roundtable. Today, we're diving into one of the most game-changing shifts the real estate industry has ever seen. Our guest, Luca Dahlhausen from Realfinity, is the forefront of empowering agents to adapt and thrive in this evolving landscape. With the recent NAR settlement shaking up the way commissions work, the future of real estate demands innovation and resilience. Luca and Realfinity are leading the charge, enabling agents to maximize their value through dual licensing. Get ready to discover how agents can not only safeguard their income, but also offer more comprehensive services by tapping into both real estate and mortgage markets. Join us as we explore the future of real estate with Luca. Luca, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Luca, let's jump right in. Can you tell us a bit about the inception of Realfinity? What was the original spark that led you to build a platform focused on dual licensing for real estate agents?
Sure, absolutely. If you look at my background, right, I spent, the prior years in my career prior to founding the company in traditional retail lending. So by nature, I was exposed to the referral sources, how we used to call them, right? A lot of real estate agents, right? A lot of real estate brokerages. And I saw a lot of the inefficiencies that come along with, traditional lending, right? And the way things are being traditionally done. And so that really sparked my interest in wanting to change something about that for both the benefit of the real estate agent who, oftentimes viewed mortgage sort of as this black box, right? And then also the end consumer, right? Who obviously is always trying to get the best interest rate. And the more middlemen there are, the worse the rate at the end of the day.
Exactly. And so that sparked you into getting into this. And tell me a little bit about Realfinity here. Like, I know it's your company, it's your baby. You're based out of Miami right now, so I'm pretty sure you guys all do all 50 states.
Not yet,
close.
not
Not
yet,
yet.
but we're going to get there by the end of next year, hopefully.
Okay.
We are currently in California, Florida, Texas, so covering some of the most aggressive and biggest markets in the nation. We have some smaller states that are coming in right now, Oklahoma, and some others that already have come through. But we're continuously adding more and more states, ultimately with the vision to become nationwide for sure.
That is awesome. Great plans. And I mean, it's just the whole thing is, hey, whole concept is great. We'll talk about it a little bit later. With the recent NAR settlement impact, the commission structure, the real estate industry seems to be on the verge of transformation. How do you see this shift affecting agents and brokerages in the coming years?
Absolutely. I always like to look at the history to a certain degree to kind of predict the future, if that makes sense. And let's take a look at that, right? Like I always like to give the example of search, right? Prior to the advent of Zillow, Redfin, and the like, the real estate agent had a very different value proposition when it comes to search towards their clients, right? In today's world, I've bought multiple homes myself, right? I like to shop, on Zillow, look at the properties, and then go to my agent of choice, who's really my advisor on the real estate transaction, right? And tell him, hey, these are the properties I'd like to see. So the value proposition there has evolved, right? And so, genuinely speaking, on a high level, I think that the real estate agent needs to evolve in their value proposition, right? When you then want to go ahead and look specifically, at the NAR settlement, everybody that says, well, now it's no longer 3% commissions. Commissions were always negotiable, right? Like that's
Right.
the reality of what really happened out there. Yes, in many cases, again, sellers agreed to pay a 3% commission, and with the transparency that was given prior to the NAR settlement, there may or may have not been a movement towards that being, the normal, right? And so. genuinely speaking, that's the past, right? And the NAR settlement changed that, right? Black on white, and it changed, that no longer, on the MLS, that commission is being advertised that the seller is willing to pay, right? And so, obviously, everybody here on this podcast probably knows all about that, how that is being, or how that's now affecting the way transactions are being done, right? But I genuinely believe, again, that all of this comes back to what is happening already. The real estate agent is evolving in their value proposition. And yes, I do think that consumers will continue to demand more and more and more. And on other things, the agent might have an easier job as well through technology, right? Searching for a home was, might have been more difficult in the past than it is today, right? And so, going back to that aspect and sort of tying it together with what we are doing, yes, I do think that, in some cases, there may be a lower commission on the real estate transaction that results out of the NAR settlement, or in general, the trend of, the real estate agent evolving. But there's additional revenues to be earned. And there's additional revenues, for example, to be earned on, providing consumers with, financing solutions as well, and evolving in the value proposition to add financing as part of what you are bringing to the table as a real estate advisor. And so that's the way I think about things, in a nutshell, really trying to look ahead and identify where the market is going.
I think you're fully correct on that. I mean, the value proposition for an agent went from, hey, I'll find you the greatest home, to let me guide you through the process of buying a home. Because, I mean, in my personal experience of selling over 200 homes already in the area where I am right now, which is the Port Orange area, um, it was mostly like, here, I found this home and this home and this home. They send you the homes or the addresses that they found on Zillow, and hey, can you help me, go look at them and then go through with the transaction on whichever one we pick. And yes, and the value is in our negotiation skills right now. But I think what you're bringing to the table will also add value, because now you're dealing with one person who's dealing with the whole transaction and the lending part, which means that it will be probably more streamlined for the buyer at the end of the day, you know?
Absolutely. And I mean, you've been in transactions, right? Like, just think about the experience for the end consumer, right? And I always like to put myself into those shoes, right? It's a different experience when you're coming to the real estate agent, and the real estate agent is asking you, hey, have you been pre-approved? I want to submit offers with you, but I need the backing of, for example, financing. And the realtor is like, well, the best I can do for you is send you over to my friend at XYZ mortgage company, and he's gonna take good care of you. Let me make the introduction, right? Like, I'm at that point, like, well, man, like, I mean, that's not a lot of value that you're bringing there to tip for me. I can Google, best mortgage companies in my area. I can, reach out to a bunch, right? Like, it's not a huge value proposition, right? Now, think about being able to start the pre-approval process for the client on the spot, walking him through the steps, being right there with them, maybe helping them snap pictures over the phone of our application to, get the documents submitted, and, turning them a pre-approval in 24 hours, or telling them why they don't approve and help them, to get there, right? It's a completely different value proposition that you're bringing to the table at that point.
Correct. I agree with you. And it's just so much, because they already build a trust with the client. You're there. You're there with them, holding their hands, looking at houses. They have communication lines with you. They're asking you about, inspections and this and that. How it wouldn't be that much harder to help them with their mortgages. That's what I'm trying to come to here. So, Realfinity promotes dual licensing as a way of diversify income and add value. For those unfamiliar, why should agents consider becoming both real estate and mortgage licensed? And what does the additional license empower them to offer?
Absolutely. I mean, I think first and foremost, yes, we are, obviously requiring people to be licensed that want to, originate on our embedded lending platform. Let me put that, just on a high level, real quick, into perspective, right? We, as a company, are on a mission to become, the leading platform to allow non-financial services providers, aka real estate agents, right, to offer mortgage services, right? And yes, in order to do that, per regulations, you need to, have a license, right? And that's kind of the term, dual licensing. You have your real estate license, you have your mortgage license, right? and your real estate license stays where it is today, nothing about that changes. All you're doing is sort of handing your mortgage license with us as a company and using our infrastructure to originate loans. And that's the way we like to view ourselves. We want to power the agents. We're not trying to make you bankers, if that makes sense, right? We really
Correct.
believe in this concept of embedded finance for the mortgage industry. Now, when you ask me about sort of what are the main reasons why an agent would like to do this, I think it's really two or threefold, right? Like one, obviously, you're intending to help your client and you're trying to add more value to that transaction, right? So it's a very, very simple equation. If you are more educated on the financing aspects of the transaction, if you're more able to help them due to licensing purposes, right, you can now, start a pre-application process or pre-approval process. You can get a pre-approval out, you can quote them rates, you can do certain things that you're not able to do before. Absolutely, you're bringing more value to the table, right? Because I bet you, if you ask, 10 of your friends that are not in the real estate business, hey, where's the 30-year, where's the 15-year fixed rate at right now? All of them will tell you different things. They don't know. It's still something that is unfortunately not as transparent, right? And so the more you can, as the real estate advisor on the front end, help there, it's simple value, right? I think the second tier is obviously you need to think about, hey, how am I diversifying my revenues? And, am I being compensated for all the value that I'm bringing to the table? And it's quite simple. You're adding an additional, service to your tool belt, if you will. You're being able to earn additional revenues for it, right? And that is, a big reason why, real estate agents today, and maybe after the NAR settlements, especially depending on commissions being affected or not, are considering this, right? And then the third pillar, which again I think is a bit of a softer pillar, is the trust component and the component of streamlining, timing, control, which is all the things that a real estate agent may or may not be struggling with as well, right? And that component is extremely important, right? Because we all know that you can only confidently sell something if you really control and understand and have trust in the process, right? And I think financing is a major component of any or of 80% of the real estate transactions, in the United States, right? And so being able to control that piece and have a bit more knowledge, I think it will take a lot of anxiety away and will make you ultimately a much better advisor to the client, right? So those are the three main reasons I'd say.
I can attest to that. I had my license for the same exact reason. My wife was like, "Yeah, you should go get it, because then you could advise better on the whole transaction." I said, "Yeah, definitely. It's a 125 question test, state test, and it's not easy. I'll tell you that. The real estate was easier. The mortgage was a little harder. It's a little bit more drier, and a lot more law and the things involved in it. But I passed it on the second try. Okay, I passed my real estate on the first try, both brokers and regular real estate agent one. But it was a little bit different kind of studying, let's say that. Especially with the school that I was doing it with. I mean, Rocket Mortgage or whatever, they did not help you a lot to learn what you're gonna do on the test. It was like kind of figure it out.
So that's actually a bit different with us. We have, again, this is our mission, right?
Yeah,
I think 98% of the agents that are coming to us don't have a mortgage license in advance. So we have a great partnership with a company called OnCourse. They actually purchased Gold Coast.
I did Gold Coast.
Yes, exactly. So everybody in Florida knows that, but they had a mortgage division, and these guys purchased that mortgage division from Gold Coast. And so, long story short, we actually have a great partner. We help you with getting through the initial 20 hours that you need to do, but then we give you an amazing app. And that app allows you to ultimately do a lot of multiple choice questions, right? Do some mock tests, really prepare, and we don't leave you alone. We have study groups. We really kind of make a bit of an experience around it, almost like an academy type of style, to get the agents excited, because we all know it's not rocket science, but you need to have a certain level of dedication, and there's great knowledge that you're getting out of it. So being able to
Amazing
share it with
knowledge.
peers
Yeah.
is quite awesome. Yeah.
Hey, I know we touched on it a little bit, but think about this too, people, that the NAR settlement, because of the new thing that we have to bring to the table is getting a exclusive signed with our clients before we go show them a house. And you can build this into your buyer's presentation as an added value. Hey, I'm also a mortgage broker, so I can advise you on any mortgage questions you got as well. It's just so much value for the people that, hey, I don't have to call another person. What if they don't pick up? They don't answer their messages or emails. You're here. And I know you answer because you're here all the time with me. You answer the phone all the time for me. So you're bringing great value already. And now how you can do this too. Oh my God, this is awesome. So just because of that, now, not just that you could make extra money over on the mortgage side, but your real estate side could bump up too because the added value. So instead of going into the discount mode, you can go into, hey, I could charge my regular fees as a real estate agent as well because I'm bringing this extra value. I just think that that's awesome too, you know. So from the consumer's perspective, what are the primary advantages for working with a dual license agent besides the fact what I just talked about? How can this help buyers and sellers save time and money, complexity? You know, we touched on it a little bit, but can you tell me your version of it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think for the consumer, to be honest with you, it's like the most straightforward value proposition ever, right?
Yeah.
Um, let's be honest, sure, there's process about it. It's nice to get everything from one hand, but I personally believe mortgages are commodities, okay? And some people now out there might argue with me, especially the ones that have bad pricing. But the reality is, there is no good or bad quality in a mortgage, right? Like, sure, the process can be maybe a bit more of a pain, maybe a bit less of a pain, but at the end of the day, everybody's going through the same underwriting, especially, on the deals that are going, to the GSEs and the like. Like, getting a mortgage is always a little bit of a process, right? Because, you're borrowing a decent amount of money, right? So I think this whole argument around, like quality doesn't really exist. Why? Because as long as you're getting the money to pay for the house, all that really matters is at what terms, meaning at what price are you getting that money? At what interest rate are you getting that money, right? And so that's what really makes mortgages, if you think about it, a commodity, right? It's like gold, right? You're getting gold, all that really matters is for what price are you getting that gold, right? As a commodity. And so I like to really focus when it comes to the value proposition of the client, the end consumer, on pricing. So let's talk about that for a second. If you were to agree, and I always, try to visualize that a little bit because, mortgage pricing is quite a complex topic. But on a very high level, a bit oversimplified, there's something, that is called the base rate, right? The base price. All of us are kind of dealing with that same, rate. And it's really defined by, capital markets, your scale, but at the end of the day, there's a base rate that we're all adhering to, out there in the mortgage market, right? And then what comes on top of that is called the cost to originate a loan. And the cost to originate a loan is really all of the cost that goes beyond that base rate. I like to give the example first of a traditional lender. A traditional lender will have, a corporate setup in which they need to pay for all of the advertisement expenses that they have towards real estate agents trying to get their business, right? They, have corporate management, all of these things. Then they have typically branch offices, right? They have, all of their branches. They need to pay for leases there. They need to pay for front office, all of those things. And then on top of that, they have, branch managers slash regional managers. And then ultimately they have, the loan officer compensation. So before you know it, there's quite a few layers of costs that are making up that cost to originate a loan, ultimately being baked on top of the base rate, which results in, the ultimate interest rate that they can offer, right? And I want to make one thing very, very clear. It's like, that interest rate can be bought down. You can split it in closing costs versus, getting the interest rate at like a par pricing, which means there's, no additional points for rate buy down. But at the end of the day, it's always all reflected in that interest rate, right? And then you look at an embedded lending model like us on the other side. Again, same concept. We have the base rate that we're all adhering to, but I don't have a single branch, right? I don't have a single branch manager. What I have is real estate agents like yourself that are, on my embedded lending platform. I'm not spending any corporate dollars on advertising directly to end consumers because you have already, the real estate agents clients that are on our platform that you already have, right? And so the cost to originate a loan is significantly leaner, right? All our agents are W-2 employees, no health benefits, no minimum wage. We go ahead and, really keep the structure as lean as possible. And we pay you commissions as you go ahead and grow, right? And as you're doing deals. So if you look at my cost to originate a loan, it's significantly lower than the one of a traditional lender, which allows us to then go ahead and offer the consumer better rates. And that's really, really the big win for the end consumer, if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense to me. Basically, really lean, less money, better purchasing power. That's the end game,
And,
like
and you're making more deals like this,
exactly.
and that's the real reality, and I will tell you, what's happening right now in today's market is traditional lenders, they need to cover their costs, so they're jacking up the cost for even already bad base rates. Now they are needing to bake all of these costs right into the few loans that they're doing in today's environment. Man, that really plummets purchasing power, right? And so, models like ours are thriving in today's environment, and the real estate agents, they bring a completely different view on this because again, it's an embedded service that you're adding on top of your value proposition.
Correct. I mean, Realfinity, we talked a little bit about your app and everything that you do with that app. Can you a little bit tell me about how that would, remove some of the usual compliance and technology barriers that might deter agents from pursuing dual licensing? I know we touched on that. It's super simple to use. You got your sort of like an academy style platform to get the licensing. Does it go further than getting the license after that? How's like the pre-approval process? How does it simplify the whole process for agents? Because I remember with Rocket, dude, it wasn't easy to submit a loan. They're like, hey, to collect all these documents and upload it here and there and blah blah. It made it like really complicated. Tell me how you do it more simpler for agents.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's the thing, right? It's like if you're a traditional lender and now you're also all of a sudden trying to break into, hey, I'm going to hire, real estate agents as well, and I'm going to offer them a platform to originate loans. Your platform, your entire systems are not built for that, right? Your
Yeah.
systems are built for bankers that sit in an office every day and all they do is crunch loans and get, referrals from real
Yeah.
estate agents, and it's a completely different workflow. So yes, absolutely. The licensing part is obviously one piece, but at our core of our company is what is called the Realfinity origination platform. Think of it as a one-stop shop for real estate agents, for non-financial service providers who are licensed to offer mortgage services to their clients, right? So, I can, go ahead and share my screen, but I think for this podcast purposes, that would be, a step too deep. But,
Maybe next
I
time.
think maybe next time, but, I think let's visualize it, right? You
Yeah.
are adding a client, you're literally starting an application. We're giving you different buckets to choose from. Hey, I know my client was a veteran. Now we're asking for documentation specifically for that veteran status to, for example, verify that. But again, we're keeping it extremely simple because we know you don't know what exact documents to request, right? Once they're in there, you don't need to upload them. The client gets a notification on their phone. They can snap pictures of everything they need. They can fill out the application. Boom, off it goes. You get a notification. Hey, your clients just submitted the loan application. You're kept in the loop on the process. We know that it's not your job to go ahead and review tax returns. So we have processing teams on the back end that go into these files that are reviewing, all of the tax returns, assets, whatever else they have to prove income, credit, and assets, and they issue pre-approvals. We have turn times of around 24 hours there right now, right? So really turning this around fast for you. Once you have a pre-approval, it's not a pre-approval that, hey, I just took a look at this and, it looks like this is going to work. This is a full pre-underwritten pre-approval. You have done everything to really make sure that this client will qualify. And it's a strong pre-approval that is, being issued to you, right? So we're working on all of these things and you are licensed. So you have full visibility into everything that goes into this loan on the back end through that origination platform, right? So these are, the way you can think about them. You can price through the platform, you can issue pricing, you can do all of these things, to really serve the client.
Luca, sold. You got me at the point where you said you just fill in the basic details of your client and then the system will take care of the rest, basically send them the notifications and tell them what to upload. I do not need to collect a ton of financial documents and have them clutter my computer and upload the stuff. That you got me there. That
Please
just
don't, please
simplifies the
don't.
whole
These
thing
are all
because
risks.
as an agent, you don't have time to do that as well. And that's the truth. You don't have time to think about, hey, you're going to need a W-2 and then your ID needs to be uploaded. And then you're going to need your, bank statements. And then you're going to need this. And the system, the AI, or I don't know if it's AI around, but your system takes care of it. which is just takes so much pressure off the shoulder of the person that's doing this on our end. Luca, that is awesome. So the
Absolutely.
statistics,
I'll give you another example real
yeah,
quick, and I'll let you go.
sure.
But you can see I'm passionate about it. When we first brought the first agents on, we gave them email addresses, and we said, "Hey, you should be, working with the second email." We realized, what agent wants a second email address? No,
I
please,
have
no.
five. So many,
Exactly.
too many.
So what we did is we built communications into the platform. Think Airbnb when you're uploading your property there to rent it out, right? All the notifications of the tenants, they come in platform, right? So we've built a communications tool in platform so that you can see any communication regards to that loan in a secure fashion, right? Like these are all things that you learn and you also build when you're listening to the agents that are really using this out there in the field, and you're building a solution specifically for them, and that's what makes us different.
This is awesome. I really like that. So statistics are compelling, and only 4% of agents today hold an MLO license, but 31% are in the process of getting one. What do you think is driving this rapid shift in interest, and how do you see these numbers evolving?
Yeah, I love it. I love it that you're referencing a study that we did together with one of our big licensing partners. It's a great study, by the way. But yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, odds are very much in our favor, right? So you look at today's environment. Very few agents already have both the mortgage and the real estate license, right? And very few are practicing it, in a very streamlined and efficient way, right? So there's a lot that you can, do there. But I think the huge opportunity lies in all of the individuals that are either in the process or about to start this or are saying right now, no, but I may consider it in the future. It's a huge momentum, right? Everybody right now is starting to realize we need to evolve in our value proposition. And I think that takes us back to how we started the podcast, which is, listen, this is a no-brainer. It's a really natural next step for most real estate agents, right? It's a big part of the transaction, and it's just about thinking, am I going to stay where I am today, or am I going to continue to evolve in my value proposition towards clients? And you know, timing couldn't be better, right? We're in a declining interest rate environment. There's a ton of business that is either sitting on the sidelines, waiting to qualify, or that has purchased in the last couple of years and is going to refinance, in the next few years here, right?
Correct.
Any agent that is not seeing this opportunity and kind of thinking about, hey, I want to go ahead and prepare myself to participate in that, to serve my clients in that, I think they should really think about, like where's this rodeo going for me?
Is this what you envision for 2025 as a future? What's coming down, and Realfinity's role in this is going to be basically licensing agents and getting them to do mortgages as well, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I want to become the biggest player in the space, right? We're not here to play. I'm intending to really become the leading player when it comes to allowing real estate agents to start offering mortgage services, right? And we're one capitalized to do that. We are building proprietary technology to support that. And we're really really eager to get going, and momentum is on our side.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, looking at what Realfinity has achieved so far, what's been the most rewarding feedback from agents who've joined the platform, and what's on the horizon besides the 50 states, etc., that we already talked about? What's next for Realfinity?
Well, I mean, let's start with the most rewarding feedback. I'm literally listening to every single, piece of feedback that we can get, right? And so are my co-founders, so is the whole team. We're really sucking it up. We're talking a lot with our agents. We started small, right? And we still are small, and we're working with every single one of these agents relatively closely. Why? Because we want to learn from them. We want to build the best platform for them, right? I'll give you a really, really hands-on example. This is an agent. Her name is Adriana. I'm sure she's happy to be, named. She's very close with us here. And, she was one of the first agents that we really, without any prior relationship, brought on. And she had a deal that got me so excited. So, in short, foreign nationals buying in Florida, and in order to purchase in order to do a purchase, they had to, cash out, refinance on some properties that they had owned for a while, where they had built up, a ton of equity. right? And so just think about this. The real estate agent's value proposition is, hey, I want to, help you take care or take advantage of the market right now because I know you want to buy before, rates are further declining and it gets even hotter. Let's work on getting a purchase done. I know you don't have the down payment right now, but here are the things that you do have. You have, these and that assets. Let's work on cashing out. Let's work on structuring this deal. This real estate agent really made the deal happen where there was no deal before, right? And seeing something like this is extremely rewarding. So not that she only get 3 loans out of this deal, she also helped obviously on purchasing the new property. She helped these clients untap, equity that was kind of caught in their homes, right? To then, make another investment property purse. This is real advisory. This is real estate. This is being a real estate advisor, right? And so that is extremely rewarding for me to see. It is extremely rewarding for me to, participate in, or for all of us to participate in. And that's an example I like to give. That's, I think, really hands-on.
That is awesome. It's a great example. I think you should use that or everywhere you go. Last question: if you had any piece of advice for the agents wondering whether dual licensing is worth it, what would it be?
I think, one, just think about what do you have to lose, right? So, hey, you're looking at some education that you are doing in order to learn more about a very important aspect of the transaction, right? Is there any sort of capital investment that you need to do, depending on, what offer you go with, what you're intending to do? You can make that assumption on your end, right? And I think for most people, the answer will be, hey, minor capital investment, and potentially great outcome of learning more, being more educated, and understanding the financing aspect significantly more. So make your assessment, just think about it in a very objective fashion, and then make your decision, right? And then I think on the second side is listen to your clients. Are your clients asking you about financing? Are they potentially scared or not knowledgeable, and are you being able to really serve them with what they need? And if you listen to these 2 things, I think it will be a very intuitive decision for most people. And I think it's a very structured approach of making a decision as well as an advisor, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, Luca, how can anyone sign up with you to work with you on mortgages, the real estate industry?
Actually, you just gave me a good idea. Typically, I would say go to our website, but I'm going to give you a customized link, okay, that you can include on this podcast. So whoever's going to be listening to this, obviously, you can go always to our website, realfinity.io. You can get in contact. You can, reach out to us. But I'm also going to give you a customized link. So let's see if anybody kind of signs up, so we can see, who are your guys' guys, and
That's awesome.
We'll be able to track them then.
We'll pop them in the description underneath the video. So anybody who wants to sign up through this link, you'll find it in the description under the video. Thank you, Luca, for that. And thank you for being a part of this podcast and your great work here in the real estate industry. I think you bring great value, and you help agents grow, and that will, lead our industry into better colors in the future. We had some bad things sort of happen in the recent years, or we're not looking as good in people's eyes, I think, and that's the reason why the NAR settlement happened. And I think this is a great way to bring value and show them that we are actually worth what we're doing, and what we're doing for them in every transaction. And bringing this to the table is just another bonus. Thank you, Luca, again for joining us in the podcast, and I hope to see you again, and we can get a little bit deeper, maybe on your platform and everything. We could do an actual review or whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. Let's do it. All right. It was so great to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, where we've unveiled the mysteries of real estate together. Remember, in this kingdom of possibilities, every dream home is just a discussion away. I can help your real estate dreams come true. Just call me at 786-449-7518. Until our next roundtable, may your ventures be prosperous and your homes be filled with love and joy. Farewell, fellow knights of real estate.